children of the night, and welcome to Tarot Nights with the Hanged Empress. Here we do shadow work following the moon.
Yo, VI, play the beat.
Well, hey there, Cap. We're just gonna jump right in because I'm getting a lot of stuff just flooding in right now. So let's get started, shall we? So the first thing I was picking up is there is something that was yours that you want back. I don't know if you've given it away, maybe. I don't know if it's a physical item or if it is a emotional standard is what I actually just got out of that. But there's something that we had that was given to us that we want back. And as I was kind of wrapping my brain around this energy of trying to pull it together, figure out what it's all about, I started getting, first Asking Alexandria, Alone Again came in, and it kind of gave me this feeling of not wanting or knowing how to ask for it or how to get it back. And there was just kind of like a little sea of hopelessness up in there, and it was getting kind of dark and it was getting kind of foggy. But then Avatar, the Eagle is Landed came in, and it was almost disruptive to this peaceful longing for this thing that we had lost, almost as if this energy was coming to take it away or keep it out of your hands, our hands. Did I get all of that? I guess so. Because now we're whipping and throwing stuff. So we tripped and triggered something. Something's very sticky. Okay. So the Hierophant fell to the ground, fell to the floor in reverse. And the King of Swords was face down, but upright. Ladies and gentlemen, your shepherd has returned again. Everything is going to be okay. Yeah. The Hierophant, this holier-than-thou caricature, and it is very, like, caricaturized inside of my mind. You know, when you go, like, to the mall or a festival or something, and they have those people that do those really goofy drawings. So this saintly caricature has a level of pompous mocking. Like, there's a mocking of the pompousness happening in the way that this is being drawn up or being viewed. So this energy of light and great illumination and guidance is falling to the floor, falling to the ground, falling on their heads. And I keep staring at these keys. Like, the keys are falling out of their pocket as they're falling out. And we've had this message before. I can't remember if it was Sagittarius or Scorpio, where somebody was falling down and dropping out the keys. But all the while, we have this very quiet King of Swords who's merely observing. I don't even feel like he's taking action, but he's preparing for action. So writing down, keeping track, keeping a record of what is happening right now is going to be very important. Journal, write down, record what you can, where you can, because something is going to transpire that you're going to want to have proof of. You're going to want to be able to prove this to somebody later. We're not holding a sword, we're holding a pen. But that pen can become a sword later when we are ready or when the time is right to act. So right now, quietly observe and watch. Watch very carefully, because again, I feel like when this holier than thou energy falls over, topples down, the keys are going to come spilling out. And whatever these keys are going to unlock for you, you're going to want to be able to pick them up. So staying alert and not getting whipped up into other people's storms, into their air, into their crazy verbal communications. Yeah, there's just a lot of words that are pushing and pulling the mind into different directions. And every time that this caricature speaks, it shoots your brain in a different direction, because now you have to justify this, you have to define this, you have to explain this. And all of these things are things that shouldn't need to be justified, explained, or, okay, gratified? Why did gratified come in? Okay, yeah, you don't need to, like, gratify anybody or make, I don't know, it's a really gross word. I don't know why I can't get it out of my head. Like, it is very prominent. This person wants gratification, and it's grossing me out. It's grossing me out. Write that down. Write that down. Whatever it is that they are saying or doing, write it down and keep a record. You may not be able to draw the sword in the moment, in the time, but keep it in your mind. This is that unflinching energy that we were practicing with before, and I hope you have been practicing how to face down certain circumstances and situations without flinching. Not because that is a goal of life, to go through life without flinching, to never show your pain, but because sometimes there is a greater mission, part, piece, puzzle that needs to be played in a very particular way for it all to come full circle. I was like, why am I pointing at this little ball here? We got there. We got there eventually, but it came in steps. It came in a process. It came in something that took time and required your patience. So you had to write it down. You had to process it for yourself. You had to decide when and where and how this ink was going to become the sword. Okay, the ink becomes the blood. The pen becomes the sword, and the ink becomes the blood drawn onto or erasing the contract. I'm seeing two very different things. One is dipping a calligraphy pen into the blood to draw up a lifetime contract, and the other one is like pouring out this blood or ink onto the paper and erasing everything that was ever on it. Intense. Try to float above the best you can. We are just throwing cards to the floor, I guess, today. Everything's just getting thrown down. We're throwing down the gauntlet. The gloves are coming off. And we're about ready to bare knuckle box, square down, square off, and show this energy some country boy retribution. Okay. The moon is what fell to the floor. Emotions might be out of hand, out of control. And that's why we were mentioning the unflinching energy, because emotions are running high. There is a strong need for justice here. And all of these feelings, we should pick them up. We should pick them up, and we should write those down too. I want to put them in that journal. Whether this is for future evidence for something that is really genuinely going on, or if this is merely for your own records of personal growth, so that you can go back later and evaluate and process these things that we're going through, because I feel like stuff is moving really quickly despite our efforts to slow things down internally. Let's do time warp again. It feels like that. Like slow down, speed up, bending time and space. Bending time and space. There's the Eight of Pentacles. You're the only one who flipped up. It's that 8. This is definitely that Capricorn energy there, giving us that grounding, that work steady attitude, that fortitude and resilience to the highly emotional tides of energies pushing and moving our vessel along this ocean that we call life. So this is the work that goes into the steam room to keep our vessel afloat. This is the steel forged from our experiences, our lessons learned from the past, and everything that we have learned about this situation so far. What we once saw as high, holy, righteous, good, or meaningful has taken a fall, has taken a tumble, and as it has done so, because of its negative intent, the aggressive motion of the energy around has jostled and shook out these keys from the pocket. It's almost as if Spirit, the universe, is taking the bully who's stealing your lunch money and grabbing them up by the ankles and shaking all the money out of their pockets. Here, you want your lunch money? You can take your lunch money back. The high energy of like, gotta do something about this. We've just gotta do something about this. But we've got to plan, and we've got to work, and we've got to forge ourselves. Here, look at that right there. I wasn't pointing at that one yet. We have to forge ourselves into this vessel to keep us afloat through these times, through these struggles. Why is acquisitions is now a thing? Like I said, oh, the ship. Okay, acquisitions, the ship, and that thing, that something that was given to you and taken by another in a higher position, but unrighteously so. It was a shakedown. It was a bullying kind of energy that came from the highest order. You know, I can take your lunch money because God ordained it to be so, you know, kind of thing. So, like, the observance of all of this injustice, again, I could just feel like as this King of Swords is writing this all down, he's just getting more and more infuriated. The tides within himself are rising. but he's keeping himself afloat. He's keeping himself sane by keeping these records, by making this plan, and by working towards his goal. This isn't a one move and done kind of situation. This is something that is going to take steps. It's going to, we're going to need to build each rung on this ladder to climb ourselves up the scaffolding and onto the next level or platform or position. 9 Pentacles. Raising up that energy. Climbing even higher. Climbing even further. The only way to get up over this is to climb. We've got all of the lightness from that page that we had that gives us the ability to float, but it's not that we're floating, it's that the weight that we're carrying isn't very heavy. She says as the Queen of Cups drops out, so subtly, silently, and quietly to the side. And do that. There we go. To the side. Well, that's interesting. I can get you the way that this energy is dropping out of this cup and spilling and pooling around the bottom. It's giving me a very like fluid paint energy of working with gravity. Yeah, working with gravity. So if something is pushing down, you can turn the image in order to turn the drip and cause it to pool up somewhere else and create a new tide pool where new life can be born. Yeah, because now I'm seeing all of these tiny little organisms just getting their very first start at life in this tide pool, kind of away from the ocean. So it's like we took the sand and we just drew out a channel to bring the water from the tumultuous and turbulent ocean and create this nice, quiet, still, safe space where life can begin again. I don't know if I have anything else. This is very deep. This is very on point. Okay. Throw out 3 more. Throw out, throw down. Just 3 more. The 8 of Cups. The 4 of Wands. And the 4 of Cups fell to the floor. Let's see if we can keep going. The 5 of Cups spilt. The 8 of Cups is the upward motion and trajectory. The 4 of Wands falling reversed and face down atop these 2 cards. It's giving me some interesting vibes. It's like the 4 of Wands is like it's like drawing out a string, this vine. It's plotting out the new foundation, the tide pool. It's built completely on faith. On the faith of knowing that whatever situation, whatever emotional circumstances are pooling up, we need to let go, move away from, draw those lines out. I'm overthinking it. We're illustrating what we were just explaining and talking about, but now that it's before me and it's actually happening, I'm taking a lot of extra time, it feels like, to really evaluate what is actually happening here. It's important to maintain your sense of clarity and focus in all of this fog and all of this water and all of these emotional circumstances and situations. Indulgence and following your passions and desires might actually not be the answer. They are the drawings on the drawing board. They're the sketches. They're the things that we're feeling, and the things that we are desiring are what's motivating our actions. But the actions that we are taking are calculated, they are planned, and they have a lot of intention, again, of leaving that bigger ocean behind and moving into a smaller tide pool where we can grow, regrow, relearn how to nurture and care for ourselves without diving into those substances, escapism habits. And again, anything and everything can be a substance. What you're doing right now is a substance, watching tarot. Taking anything, any kind of information or food habits, taking anything into your body with an overindulgence or an intention of escape are those habits and things that we are leaving behind, that we are walking away from. In preparing ourselves, we have the 8 cups to match the 8 pentacles. So each feeling can be taken into a representation and can be worked on individually. And give yourself patience, because there are multiple rungs, multiple steps. There is a whole journey of work laid out before us. This isn't, I think that's why our 4 of Wands did come out reversed, because it's not time to party or celebrate yet. We didn't win yet. But what we are moving towards is creating that space where there is something to celebrate again, where there is a reason to come together again, to get that thing back that was taken, perhaps. Getting ready to pick up those keys and move on to that next chapter. It's all very interesting. My dear children of the night, our Capricorn moon energy is giving us a lot of ground and a lot of motivation and momentum to really do the work to get the thing that we are trying to align ourselves with. And that's what we gotta do. It's a great time to just put your head down and really, really work it out, step by step, rung by rung, climbing the ladder, facing the oppositions, facing our fears, kind of feeling a fear of heights now, as we climb, looking down and being like, oh my gosh, I've come so high. What if I fall? Don't get lost in that ideal. Remember that you are gifted this energy of the steady and calculated goat at this time. The mountain goat doesn't look at its feet when it's climbing a mountain. It doesn't look below it. It is always looking to the next rock ahead. It is always planning and preparing its next move before it has even made it. And this system functions so quickly and so efficiently that it appears to be natural, or becomes a natural progression over time. But that doesn't mean that you didn't have to learn the steps, and you didn't need to learn how to climb. So give yourself the patience, give yourself the time, even if it feels like there are external energies that are demanding your time, your energy right now. That doesn't mean that they need it. That doesn't mean that you have to give it to them. You can give yourself the time and the space to evaluate for yourself what is truly right and righteous, and make that your next step. We're not following orders anymore. We're not doing what's right because somebody else told us it was right. We're doing what's right because we feel it in our bones. We know that we cannot continue on in these patterns. It's not going to get us anywhere that we want to be. Getting lost in all of this. So making our choices, knowing our feelings, coming to those determinations, and making a plan, a real plan, pulling that together, and actually do it. Don't just flip to the next tarot and hope that everything progressed for you in between watching me and watching somebody else. Take these messages and integrate them into your life and practice. Remember that every step is important, and we have to take every step. Mothers teach you to crawl, fathers will teach you to rise or fall. Everything is necessary and in its time and its place, as long as we act and perform in the right time, take the steps in the right tune. You'll be just fine. Something's coming. You're getting those keys back. Know that. Now act accordingly. Take those steps. I'm getting that wishing well out of this window right now. We hold the power and the magic and the faith that is in the water to which we drop those coins. And we're the ones who are going to do something with that energy. So do it. Slow and steady. Thanks, kids. Have a fantastic moon, and we'll see you next time.